हॅलो, हां अनिकेत बोलतो मॅडम. दिसतंय? व्हिडिओ विजिबल नाही आहे ना? फक्त हां. ओके ठीक आहे ठीक आहे. हां हां नाही नाही मी आता सुरू करतोय कारण व्हिडिओ दिसणारच नाही आहे, PPT दिसेल. ठीक आहे. हो ओके 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 ओके. हो. Okay, so good afternoon everybody. Good afternoon to all the viewers out there. And this is Dr. Aniket Shilwan, Assistant Professor, Department of Kriya Sharir, GJ Patel Institute of Ayurvedic Studies Research, Anand, Gujarat. And today I have been invited as a resource person for the national webinar with the topic immune response to COVID-19, right? Immune physiology to COVID-19 by Kriya Shari Department, YMT Ayurved Medical College, Kharghar, Navi Mumbai. So I thanks once again for the organizers, and with this I will start with my presentation. Basically, to start with, I would like to recorrect the name rather giving immune physiology, because on the one side we are looking for the disease, right, and on other side we are looking for the physiology. So it seems to be not feasible to correct physiology and pathology at one platform, but it is sure that it is a link in between physiopathy and medicine. So to correct that, I will go with immune response to COVID-19. It can be understood in a way such that through what process this COVID-19 progresses within the body, or body's immune system, how it responds to the particular immune system. COVID-19, right? So to start with, we must be have very well aware with our physiological arrangements, right? Whether it may be any type of disease, what physiological arrangements do we have with us regarding this any type of disease? So you all must be knowing that we are having two different basic systems, lymphatic and hemopoietic, in which we have lymph as well as blood flowing in lymph vessels and blood vessels. And to precise talk with lymphatic system, we have lymph nodes. You all must be known with that, primary and secondary lymphoid organs, and the other side we are having blood cells, typically defense line, that is WBC. So the scenario goes in such a way that lymph vessels carrying lymph passing through lymph node, filtering, then passing through blood, then supplying to tissues, and later on again secreted by lymph. So this circulation goes on and on. So these are basic physiological arrangements. You all must be knowing about that. We will move towards next slide. We must have also overlooked towards what cellular type of arrangements do we have regarding when it comes to talk about immunity. So cells for innate response and cells for adaptive response are there. To talk with innate response, we are having frontliners. So frontliners we can say namely, for example, phagocytes, which includes, it may be monocytes, macrophage, neutrophils, and dendritic cells. Whereas the other type of cells are natural killer cells. The other cells for adaptive response are T and B lymphocytes, as you all know, which are involved in both type of response, right, by directly combating and antibody production. We will move towards further slide. To go along with that, I will be keep making all the people aware with what properties of human immune system are with us, right? So we are benefited with such a excellent properties of immune system. To start with, the very first property is coordination. See, there is actually, I would like to say, very excellent and dynamic, efficient and dynamic coordination in between millions and millions of cells, which are again classified into sets and subsets, right? So the first property of human immune system is coordination. The second would be adaptability. We must also understand that whenever there is any illegal entry of any particular immunogen or pathogen, right, our body or specifically immune cell try to notice the cell behavior and cellular growth and tries to confront the adaptability towards that illegal entry. So the second important property is adaptability, and the third one is specificity. Very important property, because your human immune system is having a specific triggering mechanism towards a particular immunogen. So with the variety of immunogens, with the variety of pathogens which are intruding inside the body, your triggering system or triggering mechanism is so specific or so particular with each other. So the third important property is specificity. Next I would like to highlight heterogeneity. This is very important property, again I would like to say, because it tries to discriminate or signify the cells of millions of cells which are being affected as an immune response, and millions of intruders which are trying to invade your body. So the next property is heterogeneity, and the next one is memory. I would like to say this is actually a backup plan of our body, right? So backup plan in terms of recognition, backup plan in terms of memory storage, to generate faster and more stronger immune response. So this one is one of the property. And last but not least, I would like to say, when we list out the main living signs of a body through which we can recognize a person as a living individual, I would rate this property as the very first property, that is excitability. Excitability means to respond. We can think over that, what would happen if your body wouldn't able to respond towards any particular pathogen, right? So basically we are fortunate enough to respond towards any particular pathogen or illegal entry. So that is a very important property of human immune system, that is excitability. And here it comes with immune response. So immune response is again classified into three types: innate one, that will be a rapid response; adaptive one, which will be a slow response; and passive, which is again classified into two types: natural, which is inherited from generation to generation, and the next one is artificial, which is achieved only after proper exposure towards any particular medicine or say any vaccine. So this was all about properties of human immune system. Now when we talk about illegal entry or antigen, we all must be knowing there are two types of antigens. Even our body's own discarded or cellular debris is also considered as a self-antigen. So coronavirus in this case stands to be in the property of non-self antigen. Now the response towards this particular antigen, based on that, the antigens, non-self antigens, are again can be classified into two types, right? So first one is by the development of immunity, whether it may be due to production of antibodies also. So the first one goes with immunogenicity. So to create immune response, non-self antigens which are inducing immune response, so called as that immunogenicity. The second one, when these antibodies try to specifically react with one-to-one combat mechanism, so for that purpose they are able to produce any typical allergic reactions, right? So the second one is allergic reactivity. So when we talk about this coronavirus, it is adaptable, or it is able to create only immune response and not allergic reaction. Might be there are some post complications may be seen in case of allergic reactivity as well. But basically in the prima facie, you may notice that with COVID-19 you are having an immune response, a vast immune response. We will see one by one. Till date, I hope so, there are it is now nearly 10 months. December 19 it was being discovered, or firstly announced, or thereafter till date there are 10 months and we are almost adapted towards coronavirus. And let me tell you the basic facts or superficial information about this coronavirus. There are actually 4 types of coronavirus: alpha, beta, gamma and delta. These are basically respiratory tract viruses. So this is what we can understand why it is affecting more towards the respiratory system only. So these are respiratory tract viruses belonging to a family called as Coronaviridae, out of which alpha and beta are mostly found in mammals only, right? So it may be either rodent, it may be either civet, it may be either bat, or it may be either humans. Whereas gamma and delta coronavirus are basically found only in birds. Apart from that, human coronavirus is also having again 4 different types of genera, which is based on the S and N type of encoding proteins. These are again of 4 different types. I had mentioned here 229E, NL63, HKU1 and OC43, right? So these are 4 different types of coronavirus genera. Along with that, we had also experienced or seen or heard about this MERS coronaviruses and SARS coronaviruses. I will not go in detail with that. But to talk with specifically on coronavirus, these are specific in terms of high mutation rate and a very wide range of clinical pathologies. You all must be knowing, and every now and then we are listening about number of new clinical pathologies are coming out there, mostly belonging to respiratory and gastrointestinal symptoms. Now this ranges from very common cold till more severe diseases involving either bronchitis, pneumonia. These are some of them, but I would like to highlight here, this is acute respiratory distress syndrome, that is ARDS, and most importantly, as Professor also had mentioned about this, coagulopathy, right? So number of clinical pathologies are there involving coagulopathy and multi-organ failure, which may also lead to death. So this was a basic introduction about coronavirus. We will move towards when this virus enters inside the body, there are certain combat mechanisms to tackle them, and the very frontline cells which are trying to connect with that and getting into the action are called as antigen presenting cells. Now these antigen presenting cells are again classified into three types, right? First is macrophage, dendritic cell, and B lymphocytes. Now macrophage are generally usually found in your primary and secondary lymphoid organs, whereas dendritic cells are found basically in your skin, in spleen, and lymph nodes too. But B lymphocytes is having a dual nature. It is ready to receive the antigen also, and it is ready to present the antigen also. Whom should it be present? ये किसको present करना पड़ेगा? We will see in the next slide, right? So as I talked to you earlier, there is an efficient coordination in between the cells. So we are talking again about cell signaling or cell messenger system, and that is why we had experienced a cytokine storm. I would be highlighting the cytokine storm in this session also. So first we will see what happens when after the virus entry, how it goes, or what is the actual path it moves inside the body. This is a usual cascade for generation of an innate immune response generation, right, after the viral invasion. So first it will be virus invasion. Later on, from the site, your antigen presenting cells, which we had seen earlier, these are macrophages and dendritic cells, they try to trap this virus, right, and to prevent the spread of that. After trapping them, they try to phagocytosize them and disintegrate them into smaller peptide fragments. After smaller peptide fragments, they will move this antigenic material towards your antigen presenting cells. The third one remaining here is, that is beta lymphocyte, as two antigen presenting cells are mentioned here, macrophage and dendritic cells. The third one, right? So the movement of this antigenic material is towards the B lymphocyte now. That's why I am talking about T and B coordination. Next, now it comes with the binding of HLA, human leukocyte antigen. Many of the time, most of the people have used this MHC, the following term, MHC, major histocompatibility complex, and human leukocyte antigen, to and fro for each other. But there is a slight difference I would like to mention in between MHC and HLA. MHCs are basically a larger group of molecules, basically of genes, usually found on chromosome 6, right, short arm of chromosome 6, and they are having a specific receptor site over them, right, MHC, which are again classified into class 1 and class 2, where class 1 is only for endogenous, means self antigens. The own body's self antigens will be dealt with MHC class 1. So that's why endogenous antigens for MHC class 1, and the second one is class 2, that is specially for exogenous antigens, that is non-self antigens. So why we are using here MHC class 2 is, we are dealing with coronavirus. As I had told you earlier, this is non-self antigen. Again, I would like to mention here, MHC class 1 is present almost on all the cells of the body. But when we deal with MHC class 2, as I had told you earlier, it is only with the help of, it is only taking in ratio of T and B lymphocytes, right? So MHC class 2 is only dealing with, which is present on macrophages as well as B lymphocytes only. Okay, so this was a short introduction about MHC. Now we will see about what is HLA. It is again a group of molecules of genes, but smaller as compared to MHC. Again, this HLA is present on the receptor site of MHC, right? A cell which is having coated with MHC, again which is having a receptor site which is coated with HLA. Now the total scenario goes like this: MHC class 2, which is an exogenous antigen, which is for the exogenous antigen, plus this antigen bounded HLA together tries to activate or proliferate this helper T cells. We all must be knowing about helper T cells. There are two types of cells, right? T cells, helper T cells, T1 and T2. We will be seeing in the next slide. So with this cascade, we are up to the mark that helper T cells are being activated. Now what happens with this T cell and antigen, right? Both these things are in front of each other, T cell and antigen. How the scene goes, we will see again with the help of a cascade. Now these T cells are also having again receptors over them. So first thing is, the T cell should recognize this antigen. For the first point, there will be antigen recognition using T cell receptors. Now after recognition, this will lead to activation of T cells, right? After activation of T cells, now here comes the role of cytokines. I would like to mention that we will be seeing about cytokine storm in the next slides also. For that purpose, every now and then there will be some sort of different varieties of cytokines will be introduced in between also. So I would like everybody to please focus on these interleukins and interferons and tumor necrosis factors, which will be coming in the next slides. So antigen presenting cells, to be talked precisely, that is macrophages, release a cytokine that is interleukin 1b, which is actually a precursor, right? Precursor to what? With the release of interleukin 1b, this antigen presenting cells tries to activate and proliferate more number of T cells towards the site of infection. Now these T cells are present at both the sites, at the site of infection and released in large quantity in the systemic circulation also, right? So this is how T cells are being activated and proliferated. Now we had started with T cells and we are ending with B cells. What happens here is antigen which is bounded to your exogenous MHC class 2, which we had seen earlier. So antigen bounded to MHC class 2 tries to activate the B cell, and this is how the B cells are involved in production of antibody and thus generating the humoral immune response. This is adaptive immune response, right? Initially it was innate, now it is adaptive. So this goes in hand with, we had started from T and we are ended with B. However, it is vice versa also. In some cases it is start from B also and it ends at T. So in this case, in COVID-19 case, we are starting with helper T cells confronting the antigen and ending with the immune response to produce typical type of immunoglobulins, that is IgG and IgM in the circulation. So this was all about helper T cells and antigen. We are talking about the coordination in between T and B cells. I would like to more explain something about coordination of helper T cells. So the helper T cells Th1 are concerned basically with the cellular immunity. Again, here comes the role of cytokine, right? With the release of interleukin 2, it tries to activate more number of T cells. And again, with the help of release of gamma interferon, it tries to stimulate the phagocytosis process, which is accomplished with the help of macrophages, natural killer cells and CD8 cells. So this is how Th1 is involved in cellular immunity. Whereas Th2, that is helper T cells 2, are concerned only with the humoral immunity, and this function is accomplished with the help of, again, cytokines are numbered over here. This is interleukin 4 and 5. So with the release of interleukin 4 and 5, they are involved in activation of B cell and proliferation of plasma cell for production of more number of antibodies. So this is a backup plan to create antibodies against that particular pathogen. That is why I had highlighted typical properties of human immune system, right? In this we had learned about a property of specificity and heterogeneity. This is valid in case of coordination. Now what happens with cytotoxic T cells? Now at the same time, simultaneously, the helper T cells tries to activate the CD8 cells, that is cytotoxic cells also, which are again circulated in blood, lymph and lymphoid tissues. Means what we had learned in the very first slide, that is we are having two systems, blood, hemopoietic and lymphatic system. So these cytotoxic T cells are trying to patrol, right? So trying to patrol all the systems which are concerned with the pathogenic entry, whether it may be hemopoietic, whether it may be lymphatic system. So these are circulated through this, and we are having a short overlook with the mechanism of cytotoxic T cells. Now this cytotoxic T cells directly binds with the antigenic material, as we had seen earlier. Now it enlarges it in size and releases the cytotoxic substance. We all must be knowing about the lysozyme containing hydrolytic enzymes which are trying to disintegrate the antigenic material into smaller fragments, right? So directly destroying the intruders. Also along with that, they are having high capacity to go on destroying the antigens, right? So they are not aware with that whether they are destroying the non-self antigens or body's own tissues also. And there comes the role of suppressor T cell and regulatory T cells. Imagine that if there were no suppressor T cells, then these cells would like to disintegrate or completely demolish your body's own tissues also. So these cells are also important, and there is a cytokine again coming there who regulates the activity of this suppressor T cell and regulatory T cell. We will be having a short overlook with a short clip of coordination in between T and B cells. I am not aware that whether the voice is audible or not of this video, but you can understand easily with this. So this is a typical T cell engulfing the virus pathogenic, disintegrating into smaller peptide fragments, releasing them, which is collected by B cells, recognition, production of antibodies, and release of antibodies within the blood. And this is the pathogen which is binded by now your immunoglobulins, specifically IgG and IgM. Now we will be talking about what COVID-19 has done to your immune system. The list I would like to mention here, the list is endless. आप गिनते बैठोगे इतने सारे number of symptoms हमारे सामने आ रहे हैं, so the list is completely endless, right? But to highlight some of them, I would be categorizing your features of body into two categories. First is we are noticing the lymphopenia, and the second one is we are noticing the cytokine storm. To talk with this, when we generally talk COVID-19 and immune system, we generally come in front with these words, that is immune deficiency state, or it may be either immunocompromised state, or it may be hyperactive immune state. Here I would like to quote that COVID-19 has put your immune system into dilemma. Why so? Because it has put your immune system into a continuous loop of activation and inhibition. Why I am talking so is because you may find some cases where there is a presentation of enormous amount of cytokines are there. So that's why we are talking about cytokine storm, right? This is due to hyperactivated immune system. So there is a activation. And in some cases, you may find your immunity has been suppressed or compromised. This is due to inhibition of your immune system. And basic picture which is seen over there, that is lymphopenia. So in a nutshell, I would like to talk that COVID-19 has put your immune system into dilemma by putting your immune system into a continuous loop of activation and inhibition. So presenting only in two features, that is lymphopenia and cytokine storm. We will go with physiological understanding, hematological picture, right? What do we find in hematological picture after assessment or diagnosis of COVID-19 cases? The first I would like to mention here is variation in WBCs. Variation in terms of what? Leukopenia. It is vast, ranging from leukopenia to leukocytosis. Or to talk precisely, you may find lymphopenia including T cell apoptosis, right? T cell apoptosis or CD4 and CD8 count will be also decreased till neutrophil increase, right? So there will be leukocytosis. Along with that, you may also find increased macrophage colony stimulating factor and granulocyte colony stimulating factor. If I like to comprise this in a single statement, I would mention that wherever you see lymphopenia, this lymphopenia is associated with or it should be said as a marker for increased disease severity in terms of COVID-19. And whenever you find neutrophil increase, this is the very initial picture just when you are exposed towards that COVID-19, right? So neutrophil increase is associated with the viral load entry, and then after your protective mechanism of body starts. So it is usual that lymphopenia is associated with the poor prognosis in COVID-19, and you may also find, as we had learned earlier, increased pro-inflammatory cytokines and chemokines will be there in the serum. To talk more about hematological picture, I hope in the previous lecture, Prasad sir had almost nominated all these things, but I would like to mention why they are coming into the hematology or why their serum levels are being raised, right? To start with this first, that is hyperferritinemia. Ferritin is actually, I would like to mention here, apoferritin is the only source बॉडी में एक ही जगह ऐसी है जहां पे फेरिटीन एक्सेस अमाउंट में in its pure form will be found, and that is red nucleus, neurology, right? So when there are elevated symptoms of hyperferritin inside the blood, this indicates actually dysregulation of your immune system, and which may cross your blood-brain barrier and involve your neurological symptoms too. So hematological picture shows blood hyperferritinemia. Second, prolonged prothrombin time. I would like to mention here D-dimer and prothrombin time basically. What happens here is, with the severity of infection, there is vascular endothelial damage, right? So with this vascular endothelial damage, you may find your coagulating systems are being activated. At one side, if your coagulating systems are being overactivated, on the other hand, your fibrinolytic, or I would like to say that anticoagulating systems are suppressed, and with this there are chances of thrombosis. So multiple thrombosis will be there, and this may lead to DIC, that is called as disseminated intravascular coagulation. And you all must be aware that D-dimer, or rather prothrombin time, are actually the hallmarkers of early diagnosis of this DIC. So that's why hematological picture shows prolonged prothrombin time. Next is elevated LDH, that is lactate dehydrogenase, which is actually a byproduct associated with the conversion of lactate and pyruvate, which is present. It is an enzyme which is present in 5 different isozymes within the body, right? It is present in cardiac, it is present in renal, it is present in hepatic, it is even present in striated muscles, and most importantly in pulmonary tissues, right? So LDH is associated with all this, and that's why we can have multi-organ failure too. What happens with increased severity of infection, there is lung tissue damage, right? One of the isozyme present in the lung tissue of LDH. With this tissue damage, now the lung tissues are ready to release enormous amount of LDH into the circulation, and that's why in hematological picture we may see elevated lactate dehydrogenase. I would like to quote also here, this LDH is a very bad picture for us, because if I am not wrong, post COVID syndrome में भी अगर आपने देखा होगा, due to enormous amount of lactic acid freely present in the circulation as well as in the tissues, the person is suffering very first symptom, that is fatigue, and the main probable reason behind that is LDH, right? So elevated LDH is one of the hematological picture which we see. Next, elevated interleukin 6. I will be skipping interleukin 6 here because it plays a main key role. It is actually a key player in cytokine storm, which will be independently elaborated in next slide. So I will be skipping right now here. Just to understand that, keep this in mind. In hematological picture, we also find elevated IL-6. Next, elevated CRP proteins. These are actually inflammatory and pro-inflammatory marker. With the tissue injury, there are tissue and vascular changes over there, and with these changes, you may find elevated CR protein level. Elevated soluble CD25, which is also nominated as interleukin 2 receptor, right? Now this is regulated only with the regulatory cells, which we had seen earlier. That's why I had explained the role of suppressor or regulatory cells in terms of cytotoxic T cells, which we had seen earlier. So you may find, in a nutshell, I would like to talk about hematological picture में उसका presentation आपको कैसे मिलेगा. This will lead to inflammatory changes. This may lead to hypercoagulability status. This may lead to cytokine storm, and this may ultimately lead to multi-organ failure. And all these factors are contributing towards death, right? So the situation goes more worsen with the release of such factors. Next, COVID-19 and spleen. Spleen, as you all know, it is one of the major lymphoid organ. What happens to spleen once it has been encountered with the COVID-19 pathogen? The very first sign or rather symptom I would like to mention here is lymphopenia, right? Because spleen is a lymphoid organ, and you may mark tremendous lymphopenia will be there. I am talking concern mainly regarding the T and B lymphocytes. Next is natural killer cells, macrophage, and which we had seen earlier, HLA bounded antigen presenting cells. Initial there will be increase of all these cells, but later on they will also get decreased. This is the difference only because of innate and adaptive response, which we had seen earlier in the previous slides only. I had told you innate response is actually a rapid one, and later on it will be slower response. If we talk about splenic parenchyma, we may see autopsies has also reported that there is a parenchymal atrophy, right? Either it may be large amount of atrophy, lymphoid follicles atrophy will be found in the spleen, severe damage to the white pulp, and I would like to quote here, if the splenic immune system collapse, this will majorly decide the clinical outcome of the patient, right? I had gone through one of the picture that I have gone one of the presentations where they had also confused with the state that COVID-19 has presented human spleen with the splenomegaly, and they had been trying to correlate with this with Banti syndrome. Now Banti syndrome is having 3 major symptoms over there. First is splenomegaly, second is portal hypertension, and third is ascites, right? So they had correlated as a clinical picture of Banti syndrome in COVID-19. This is a representation of, I would like to say, hypercoagulable status, because there are multiple splenic vein thrombosis which we had seen in the earlier state, and that's why we are doing prothrombin time, right, which is find elevated over there. So this is what COVID-19 has done to your spleen. We need to understand in physiological limits what our body organs are being affected and how much extent are being affected. Humoral response, if we talk about humoral response, antibodies, you all must be knowing that mechanism of action of antibodies, there are two types of action, direct and indirect. I will be not going into detail in this. First is agglutination, clumping of all the cells. Precipitation, try that it will not be in soluble, right? So if it becomes soluble, it is mixed up with the body tissues and may create all the tissue damage over there. So precipitation is there. Next is neutralizing. I would like to mention here, COVID-19 antibodies, if you had searched Google or you had gone through any cases or experienced that, COVID-19 antibodies are basically neutralizing antibodies. That's why I'm mentioning here mechanism of action of antibodies, direct action, that is neutralization. So one of the antibodies are which are being emerged out there, they are being directly neutralizing the toxic sites through which the antigenic material is being released by COVID pathogen, right? Next is lysis, you all must be knowing with this cell membrane disintegration. When we talk about indirect actions, there is opsonization, means to coat that particular antigen with a delicious protein, that is opsonine, and then after it will be easier for phagocytosis. So first is opsonization, next is lysis, we had seen earlier. Chemotaxis is again one thing, that is chemotactic action, right? Chemically attracting all the things. Agglutination we had seen in the direct action. Neutralization. Last but not least, histamine release. Now this is done with the help of mast cell and basophils, right? What do histamine release play here a role? Because it leads to vasodilation, and with the vasodilation there will be increased capillary permeability, and plasma protein will leak into the tissues and they will try to activate the defense mechanism. So this is how humoral response is being generated by the antibodies. To quote some more phases, I would like to say immune response phases are more apart from which we had seen in the previous slide. I would be not going in detail with all these phases, right? Just to show, you can see all this. These are immune response phases. Antibodies or your human immune system reacts or confronts your COVID antigen with this number of phases. Now we will come to cytokines, right? Immune physiology. So this is, everything is in the physiological limit. When this exceeds the physiological limit, it may intrude into the pathology. So we are learning in terms of physiological limits only. Cytokines are basically the cell signaling intracellular messengers, which are basically non-antibody molecules and which functions basically to activate and regulate your immune system and the related functions, right? There are variety of cytokines, because cytokine, this term is just an umbrella term, right? There are number of cytokines which are included in this. Interleukins, I had mentioned in the bracket only those cytokines which are relevant with COVID-19 cases, which I had found after a study. This number of cytokines are being directly associated with the COVID-19 cases. Interleukins, as the name indicates, these are released by WBC only, leukocytes only, and these are playing the role to convey the messages in between the immune cells, that is WBC cell line. Next is interferon. The name itself indicates they are trying to interfere. Now, इनका काम क्या होता है? They are trying to interfere the viral replication process, right? But apart from that, they play a major role in activation of macrophage and activate the TH1 यानी helper T1 cells को respond करने के लिए, activate करने के लिए इनका सबसे अहम role निभाया जाता है, that is interferons. The next one is tumor necrosis factor. We generally encounter with the very first symptom after pathology, that is viral fever, right? In COVID-19 also we are experiencing the viral fever and later on all the pathological symptoms. So the key player behind this viral fever is tumor necrosis factor, right? This tumor necrosis factor, which is of three types, alpha, beta and gamma, is able to cross your blood-brain barrier, reach the central nervous system. To talk precisely, it reaches the hypothalamus where your temperature thermostat mechanism runs, and it tries to alter or increases the set point of your temperature, right? So इसका resultant effect क्या होगा? It may try to increase your febrile response, and thus there is an outcome of viral fever. So this cytokine is also playing a role. Next one is chemokine. These are chemotactic action. ये भी दो प्रकार के होते हैं, basal and inflammatory, right? Basal जो होते हैं, these are involved only in the homeostatic mechanism, trying to balance all the things, right, as far as possible. But inflammatory markers are certain chemokines which are inflammatory markers and which try to release only after the cellular damage. So these are chemokines and defensins. Now as Prasad sir also had mentioned, and I am also telling here that majority of the symptoms which we encountered in COVID-19 cases are belonging to two systems, that is respiratory and gastrointestinal tract. This is because you may notice that ये cytokine सिर्फ cytokine storm ये वर्ड के लिए सीमित नहीं है, बहुत सारे cytokines ऐसे हैं जो अपने अपने तरीके से पैथोलॉजिकल सिम्टम्स को क्रिएट कर रहे हैं. So these defensins are of two types, alpha and beta. Alpha defensins are present only in your respiratory mucosal membrane, so that's why this has been affected, and beta defensins are present in your gastrointestinal tract. So that's why these two systems, or mucosal immunity of these two systems, has been hampered or being attacked at the prima facie, right? Now we will talk about interleukin 6. It is actually a key player, right? इसका सबसे अहम भूमिका क्यों है? क्योंकि just after the tissue injury or vascular endothelial damage, after inflammatory changes, in the very acute phase, this interleukin 6 comes out, right? So it is crucial in terms of acute inflammation only. थोड़ा सा इसका सिग्निफिकेंस जानने के लिए मैं ये बताऊंगा आप लोगों को कि इंटरल्यूकिन 6 जो है ये कितनी सारी चीजों से प्रोड्यूस किया जा सकता है. इट इज प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय ऑल द स्ट्रोमल सेल्स इनसाइड द बॉडी. WBC सेल लाइन अगर देखेंगे तो T and B लिम्फोसाइट से आपके पास, मैक्रोफेज है मोनोसाइट से, डेंड्राइटिक सेल है, मास्ट सेल्स है, और मिसेलेनियस या फिर अदर्स में अगर देखेंगे तो द लिस्ट गोज ऑन, फाइब्रोब्लास्ट है, एंडोथेलियल सेल्स है. तो इतने सारे सेल से इंटरल्यूकिन 6 ये तैयार किया जा रहा है. एंड इंटरल्यूकिन 6 का अगर मेन फंक्शन अगर हम देखेंगे तो इट इज मेनली इन्वॉल्व इन एक्टिवेशन ऑफ हेल्पर टी सेल्स. इनको कोडिंग किया गया है, टू टॉक प्रिसाइजली यहाँ से आगे मैं इसका नाम यही दूंगा, दैट इज P17, राइट? इसका मेजर रोल क्या है हम आगे देखेंगे. सो एक्टिवेशन ऑफ हेल्पर टी सेल्स, दैट इज P17, एंड इट डायरेक्टली इंटरफेयर्स द dendritic and T cell interaction. So it is a key player over here. और इंटरल्यूकिन 6 अगर आप देखोगे तो इसका की रोल रहा है पैथोजेनेसिस में साइटोकाइन स्टॉर्म जनरेट करने के लिए, बिकॉज ऑफ ये एक मेन प्रॉपर्टी मैं हाईलाइट करना चाहूंगा यहाँ पे, दैट इज प्लियोट्रॉपिक प्रॉपर्टीज. दिस इज बिकॉज अ सिंगल जीन एक्सप्रेशन tries to manifest in terms of multiple phenotypic expression. अब समझ में आ रहा है कि एक ही जीनोटाइप था, वो अलग अलग मल्टीपल फिनोटाइपिक ट्रायड्स में प्रेजेंट कर रहा है या फिर खुद को मैनिफेस्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहा है. दैट इज व्हाई साइटोकाइन स्टॉर्म इज नॉट रिलेवेंट ओनली विद अ सिंगल ऑर्गन और सिंगल सिस्टम, राइट? ऑलरेडी हमने देखा है कि ये साइटोकाइंस जो है कहाँ तक जा सकते हैं, देयर एक्सटेंट कितना है. सो प्लियोट्रोपिक प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ IL-6 इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल mainly for the pathogenesis of cytokine storm, and which is presenting or manifesting throughout the body symptoms. So यहाँ पे अगर मैं ट्रीटमेंट स्ट्रेटेजी ट्रीटमेंट में नहीं जाना चाहूँगा, लेकिन मॉडर्न के हिसाब से अगर आप देखोगे तो यहाँ पे मेनली प्लान ऑफ एक्शन क्या बनता है? यू हैव टू सप्रेस और यू हैव टू ब्लॉक all the cytokines which are as inflammatory markers, right? So immunosuppressive therapy यहाँ पे यूज की जाती है. These are nothing but आपको बाहर से एक्सटर्नल सप्लीमेंट के तौर पे कुछ ऐसी चीजें दी जाएंगी जिसके वजह से ये जो साइटोकाइंस है, टू बी टॉकिंग स्पेसिफिक, इंटरल्यूकिन 6, interferons and tumor necrosis factor are being blocked, right, to prevent the tissue damage and prevent cytokine storm. To talk more about cytokine storm, आज के तौर पे ये एक नया टर्म अभी प्रचलित हुआ है, hypercytokainemia, right? So this is relevant with the macrophage activation syndrome also, and secondary hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytics. क्योंकि साइटोकाइन स्टॉर्म में अगर हम देखेंगे, प्रीवियसली मैंने बताया जैसा कि IL-6 इंपॉर्टेंट है, जिसकी डायरेक्ट इन्वॉल्वमेंट है, एंड दिस टाइप्स टू बी द हॉलमार्क फॉर द सीवियरिटी, टू डिसाइड द सीवियरिटी ऑफ द COVID-19 केसेस, राइट? सो IL-6 डायरेक्टली इन्वॉल्व होने की वजह से the condition of patient is being trying to assess, right? Worsening or trying to prognosis of patient can be easily dealt with the help of assessment of interleukin 6. It tries to activate or proliferate Th17, as I had mentioned earlier, because this is clinically associated with, again, inflammatory and autoimmune disorders. So इसीलिए जहाँ तक मैं समझता हूँ साइटोकाइन स्टॉर्म के लिए इंटरल्यूकिन 6 जो है ये बहुत ज़्यादा मायने रखता है, एंड इट इज बीन वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट टू असेस और ट्रैक द स्टेटस ऑफ इंटरल्यूकिन 6. नेक्स्ट जो है आपके पास इंटरल्यूकिन, दैट इज इंटरल्यूकिन 22. इसका बेसिक फंक्शन जो है, इट रेगुलेट्स द म्यूसिन, फाइब्रिनोजेन एंड एंटी एपोप्टिक प्रॉपर्टीज, राइट? अभी इनको रेगुलेट करने के वजह से इन सच केसेस वेर यू एक्सपीरियंस साइटोकाइन स्टॉर्म, देयर यू मे फाइंड edema at the lung tissues, but विच इज रिच विथ म्यूसिन एंड फाइब्रिन। इसके वजह से क्या होगा, गैसेस एक्सचेंज जो है ये इम्बैलेंस होगा एंड विच विल लीड टू मोर सीवियरिटी ऑफ acute respiratory distress syndrome. So this is how cytokine storm is affecting our immune system. अगर हम फिजियोलॉजिकल अल्टरेशन की बात करें, आपके बॉडी के फिजियोलॉजिकल मैकेनिज्म्स कहाँ कहाँ पे हैम्पर हुए हैं या फिर किस तरह से अफेक्टेड हुए हैं, उसकी अगर हम बात करते हैं तो यू मे नोटिस दैट देयर इज, ये कहाँ से शुरुआत होती है, ड्यू टू ओवर स्टिमुलेशन ऑफ इम्यून सिस्टम। इसीलिए मैंने आपको क्या बताया था कि व्हाट कोविड-19 हैज डन टू योर इम्यून सिस्टम, इसको आपके इम्यून सिस्टम को दो हिस्सों में डिवाइड किया है एंड पुट इट इनटू डिलेमा, राइट। या तो वो हाइपर एक्टिवेटेड स्टेट में लेके जाएगा, इसलिए यहाँ पे हम हाइपर एक्टिवेटेड स्टेट की बात कर रहे हैं। तो ओवर स्टिमुलेशन ऑफ इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स इज देयर। अभी ये कहाँ तक होगा, एक्सीडिंग द फिजियोलॉजिकल लिमिट्स, जिसके वजह से फिजियोलॉजिकल कंपेंसेटरी मैकेनिज्म कोप अप नहीं कर पाएगा एंड दिस में लीड टू मल्टी ऑर्गन और मल्टी सिस्टमिक इन्वॉल्वमेंट। और इन सारी चीजों को अगर मैं प्रिसाइजली बात करने की कोशिश करूं, यू मे नोटिस टिश्यू वैस्कुलर चेंजेस, you may notice inflammatory changes with edema, you may also notice the gaseous exchange dysfunction which will be ultimately leading to acute respiratory distress syndrome, and due to number of markers which we had seen earlier, LDH है, ferritin है, right, so इनके वजह से cardiac damage भी बहुत सारे proportion में सामने आया है and number of secondary infections will be there. So physiologically COVID-19 ने इतनी सारी चीजों को disturb करते गया है। एक चीज यहाँ पे नहीं बताना चाहूंगा, दिस इज अ वेरी न्यू थिंग, ऑल मस्ट बी नोइंग अबाउट दैट, आई डोंट नो, बट वी ऑल मस्ट बी लर्न अबाउट दिस चेकलिस्ट, राइट। सो अगर आपको मल्टी ऑर्गन फेलियर अगर हम देखते हैं तो देयर कम्स अ नीड टू असेस व्हेनेवर अ पेशेंट इज बीन डायरेक्टली एक्सपोज टू सच अ पैथोजन, नॉट ओनली कोविड, राइट, किसी भी के भी साथ अगर आप एक्सपोज होते हो तो ट्राई टू असेस द फिजियोलॉजिकल अल्टरेशन विद इन द बॉडी, then try to assess the involvement of organ or system। अभी organ और system की involvement कैसे हम देख सकते हैं, तो there is a SOFA score, right। so ये SOFA score में this is nothing but sequential organ failure assessment score। कैसे देखना है, इसमें मेजरली सारे systems involve किए गए हैं assess करने के लिए। respiratory involvement is there, इसका अगर checklist करना, इसका assessment करना है तो आपके पास ऑक्सीजन saturation और उसकी availability चेक करना होगा। कार्डियक इन्वॉल्वमेंट के लिए आपके पास मीन आर्टेरियल ब्लड प्रेशर है, न्यूरोलॉजिकल इन्वॉल्वमेंट के लिए आपके पास ग्लासगो कोमा स्केल है, हिपेटिक इन्वॉल्वमेंट के लिए आपके पास बिलिरुबिन प्रोफाइल है, रीनल इन्वॉल्वमेंट के लिए आपके पास क्रिएटिनिन प्रोफाइल है, हीमोपोएटिक इन्वॉल्वमेंट के लिए आपके पास मेनली जो कंसर्न है दैट इज कोएगुलेशन स्टेटस है। दीज आर सम ऑफ थिंग्स, यू कैन फाइंड नंबर ऑफ लिटरेचर रिगार्डिंग SOFA score on internet also। So this is a new thing which we need to practice and which we need to assess, right, after any illegal entry and our exposure towards that entry। So last but not least, फिजियोलॉजिकल इम्यून अटेम्प्ट की अगर हम बात करेंगे कोविड-19 में, राइट, तो सबसे पहली चीज जो है वायरस रिकॉग्नाइजेशन, वायरस ही नहीं, यहाँ पे कोविड-19 की बात चल रही है इसीलिए वायरस की बात कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन पैथोजेन का जो है, इम्यूनोजेन का जो है, उसका रिकॉग्नाइजेशन होना जरूरी है एंड दिस इज डन विद द हेल्प ऑफ पैटर्न रिकॉग्नाइजेशन रिसेप्टर्स, राइट। उसके बाद रोल आता है डेवलपमेंट ऑफ बोथ इनेट एंड एक्वायर्ड इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स इन द होस्ट सेल। अभी ये कैसे एसेस किया जाएगा या फिर ये कैसे पाथवे इसका आगे बढ़ता है, फर्स्ट दैट इज इंक्रीज इन द रिलीज ऑफ इन्फ्लेमेटरी फैक्टर्स, लेटर ऑन इंडक्शन एंड मैच्योरेशन ऑफ योर डेंड्राइटिक सेल, राइट, मींस एंटीजन प्रेजेंटिंग सेल्स होने चाहिए, देन इंक्रीजिंग सिंथेसिस ऑफ इंटरफेरॉन्स, राइट। अभी इंटरफेरॉन ही क्यों लिया मैंने यहाँ पे, बिकॉज यू ऑल मस्ट बी नोन राइट नाउ, अभी तक तो आप अवेयर हो चुके होंगे कि इंटरफेरॉन इसीलिए बिकॉज एज द नेम इंडिकेट्स दे आर ट्राइंग टू interfere the replication process of that particular pathogen and here it is virus, right। next is CD8 सेल और T सेल जहाँ पे एटोफेजी देखने को मिलेगा, लाइसिस ऑफ इन्फेक्टेड सेल, जितने भी होस्ट सेल जो अफेक्टेड हुए हैं उनका ऑटोफेजी में जाना चाहिए, उनको डिस्ट्रक्ट करना चाहिए टू प्रिवेंट द और टू लिमिट द वायरल स्प्रेड, राइट। नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज हेल्पर टी सेल्स, बेसिकली जो है आपको इस चीज में काम में आएंगे बिकॉज दे आर रिलीजिंग द प्रो इन्फ्लेमेटरी साइटोकाइन and which are helping the other T cells to come at that particular infection site, right। CD4 T cells are trying to stimulate the B cells, यानी दोनों भी तरह से हमको कॉम्बैट मैकेनिज्म के बारे में सोचना है, एक तरफ से इनेट मैकेनिज्म और एक तरफ से वायरस स्पेसिफिक एंटीबॉडीज का प्रोडक्शन, यानी ह्यूमरल रेस्पॉन्स के तौर पे भी हमको सोचना पड़ेगा। एंड व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट एंटीबॉडीज, नाउ हियर इन केस ऑफ कोविड-19 as I had mentioned earlier, two types of antibodies are found in the serological survey also, you can read number of articles are there, सीरो सर्वे में आपको कौन से एंटीबॉडीज मिलते हैं, IgG एंड IgM आर कंसर्न्ड विद, उसमें से मैं ये बताना चाहूंगा, बहुत बार आपने ये देखा होगा कि एंटीबॉडीज में ड्यूरेशन की बात चली है। रिसेंटली कुछ आर्टिकल्स में ऐसा भी बताया गया था कि कोविड-19 के अगेंस्ट जो एंटीबॉडीज थे वो सिर्फ 50 दिन ही रहते हैं, 60 दिन ही रहते हैं। दिस इज बिकॉज ये ड्यूरेबिलिटी कम्स विद द जेनेटिक कोडिंग ऑफ दिस इम्यूनोग्लोबुलिन चेन, राइट? सो आईजीएम अपीयर्स फर्स्ट एंड डिसअपीयर्स फर्स्ट आल्सो। सो आईजीएम शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन के लिए रहेगा, बट लेटर ऑन लॉन्ग टर्म ड्यूरेशन के लिए जो आता है और स्टेबलाइज करके रहेगा, दीज आर न्यूट्रलाइजिंग एंटीबॉडीज एंड दीज आर आईजीजी, राइट? सो दिस शुड बी अंडरस्टूड। एंड वायरल लोड एंट्री जितनी ज्यादा मात्रा में होगी उतना आपके टी सेल्स का, स्पेसिफिकली बात कर रहा हूं मैं, टी सेल्स का एपोप्टोसिस होता जाएगा। ये एक तरीके से देखा जाए तो अच्छा है, लेकिन दूसरी तरीके से आपको बैकअप प्लान तैयार करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज beyond the exceeding limit, if the apoptosis happens, this may lead to immunocompromised state or immunodeficient state, right? And then there will be multi-systemic failure and we will be surrendering our body towards number of disease over there. एक और चीज यहाँ पे हाईलाइट करना चाहूंगा, हमने शायद ही किसी ने ये नोट किया होगा कि व्हाई चिल्ड्रंस आर लेस अफेक्टेड टुवर्ड्स कोविड-19, या फिर मैं ये कहूँ रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ चिल्ड्रन टू कोविड-19, राइट? मैं एक चीज यहाँ पे हाईलाइट करना चाहूंगा, दैट इज थाइमस। सभी को पता है कि थाइमस का जो मैच्योरेशन है ये कंप्लीटली इंट्रा यूटराइन लाइफ में पूरा हो चुका होता है, उसके बाद उसका ग्रोथ होता है एंड लेटर ऑन आफ्टर प्यूबर्टी ओनली, राइट? ओनली आफ्टर प्यूबर्टी इट ट्राइज टू श्रिंकेज। सो थाइमस एज कंपेयर टू चाइल्डहुड एंड मिडलहुड और ओल्ड एज फेज में अगर हम बात करेंगे, तो चिल्ड्रन विद द एफिशिएंट फंक्शनिंग ऑफ थाइमस आर रेजिस्टेंट टुवर्ड्स द कोविड-19। एक और चीज यहाँ पे पढ़ने में आई थी मेरी, वो मैं आपके सामने रखना चाहूंगा, दैट इज डिफरेंशियल एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ एसीई एंजाइम, राइट? एंजियोटेंसिन कन्वर्टिंग एंजाइम जो आपके रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक्ट में रहता है, लंग टिश्यूज में रहता है, इसका डिफरेंशियल एक्सप्रेशन होता है जेनेटिक लेवल की तौर पे, एंड दिस डिफरेंशियल एक्सप्रेशन इंक्रीजेस विद द प्रोग्रेशन ऑफ एज, राइट? एंड इट इज फाउंड राइट फ्रॉम योर नेजोइपिथेलियम टिल योर अल्वियोलाई। सो ये एंजियोटेंसिन कन्वर्टिंग एंजाइम जो है very well are differently expressed in terms of nasal epithelium। इसके वजह से जैसे जैसे आप adulthood में जाओगे, it is been directly attacked and it's been directly countered with। इसके वजह से चिल्ड्रंस में जो है ये इतना डिफरेंशियल एक्सप्रेशन होने की वजह से डायरेक्ट फोकस नहीं आएगा, डायरेक्ट अटैक इसके ऊपर नहीं होगा। सो दिस इज वन ऑफ द possible factor which is creating a resistance of children towards COVID-19, right? So this may lead to prognosis is much better in children than adults। एक और चीज में यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन मार्क डाला है मैंने, if I am not wrong, I am suppose that systems are not so efficient or not primed up to launch such an aggressive response which happens usually in case of adulthood or old age, right? Usually adulthood या old age में जब आपके पूरी तरह से सारे systems efficiently काम कर रहे हैं, तो they are trying to give maximum number of information, maximum number of response, trying to give response there, right? So it is a type of aggressive response। लेकिन ये सारी चीजें सिस्टम्स पूरी तरह से डेवलप ना होने की वजह से चिल्ड्रंस में एग्रेसिव रिस्पांस देखने को नहीं मिलता, एंड दैट्स व्हाई दिस इज क्रिएटिंग अ रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ चिल्ड्रन टुवर्ड्स द कोविड-19। सो दीज आर पॉसिबिलिटीज ऑफ रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ चिल्ड्रन टुवर्ड्स द कोविड-19, राइट? इन अ नटशेल अगर मैं बात करने की कोशिश करूंगा, व्हाट शुड बी द एक्शन प्लान? आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू डिफाइन द ट्रीटमेंट, राइट? क्लिनिकल फैकल्टी आर नोन वेरी वेल विद दिस। दिस इज नॉट आवर पैथी, दिस इज नॉट आवर स्ट्रीम, बट इतना सारा साइटोकाइन स्टॉर्म एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स, यानी टिश्यू लेवल पे ये सारी चीजें जो हो रही है उसको अगर आप अच्छे से नोट कर सकते हो, तो यू कैन इजीली कम टू नो दैट एक्शन प्लान क्या होना चाहिए आपके इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स को स्टेबलाइज करने के लिए, राइट? सो फर्स्ट विल बी प्लाज्मा थेरेपी। आप आपके इम्यून सिस्टम को कुछ इस तरह से लोड कर दो विथ हाइपर इम्यून प्लाज्मा, जिसमें नंबर ऑफ न्यूट्रलाइजिंग एंटीबॉडीज विल बी देयर, आईजीजी। नेक्स्ट विल बी एंटीवायरल, जिसका काम ही है कि रिड्यूसिंग द वायरल लोड, है ना? तो आपके पास लोपिनावीर, रेमडेसिविर, जो भी जितने भी आज के तारीख में आए हुए हैं बाहर जितने भी एंटी रेट्रोवायरल एजेंट्स हैं, इनका यूज कर सकते हैं। दूसरा है इम्यूनोमॉड्यूलेशन। इम्यूनोमॉड्यूलेशन में क्लोरोक्वीन एंड हाइड्रोक्सीक्लोरोक्वीन जैसे बहुत सारे सिंथेटिक मॉलिक्यूल्स काम करेंगे। एक चीज यहाँ पे हाईलाइट करना चाहूंगा, दैट इज इम्यूनोसप्रेसिव थेरेपी व्हिच वी हैड सीन अर्लियर आल्सो, राइट? साइटोकाइन टारगेटेड थेरेपी होनी चाहिए। वी आर ट्राइंग टू ब्लॉक द इनॉर्मस रिलीज ऑफ साइटोकाइन, जिसके जरिए हम इम्यूनोसप्रेसिव की बात करेंगे। इसमें इम्यूनोसप्रेसिव में अगर आपने शायद ये मेडिसिन, यू ऑल मस्ट बी अवेयर विद दैट, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट टोसिलिजुमाब, है ना? टोसिलिजुमाब नाम का एक मेडिसिन है विच इज बीन फ्रीक्वेंटली यूज्ड इन कोविड-19 केसेस नाउअडेज। उसके बाद methotrexate is also been used, right? Number of therapeutic use, साइटोकाइंस का ही वापर, साइटोकाइंस का ही यूज जो है इनके ऊपर किया जा रहा है कोविड-19 के केसेस में। टू टॉक स्पेसिफिकली मैं बात करना चाहूंगा गामा इंटरफेरॉन्स की, राइट? इनका भी यूज किया जाता है। तो इनका मोड ऑफ एक्शन क्या ध्यान में रख के वो यूज कर रहे हैं, इम्यूनोसप्रेसिव थेरेपी के तौर पे, राइट? एंड लास्ट बट नॉट लीस्ट दैट इज एलिमिनेटिंग दिस साइटोकाइंस बाय हीमोपरफ्यूजन। सो इतने सारे एक्शन प्लान हम कर सकते हैं टू स्टेबलाइज योर इम्यून सिस्टम। टुडेज टॉक वाज ओनली रिगार्डिंग द इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स, राइट? इसीलिए मैंने बताया था कि मुझे जो टॉपिक दिया गया था दैट वाज इम्यून फिजियोलॉजी, और दूसरी तरफ था टॉपिक दैट इज अ डिसीज, राइट? सो डिसीज में फिजियोलॉजी ढूंढने के बजाय मैं आपको जाहिर सी बात है इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स की बात कर रहा हूँ। ये डिसीज में आपकी इम्यून सिस्टम किस तरह से रिस्पॉन्ड कर रही है एंड हाउ द all the scenario goes within the body, right? So this was for today's lecture regarding immune response in COVID-19. So in a short, अगर मैं बताना चाहूँगा what is take away for today's lecture is, पहले तो आप ये समझ लो कि COVID-19 के इन्फेक्शन में आप पैथोजन के ऊपर ज्यादा ध्यान ना देते हुए होस्ट के सेल्स के ऊपर ज्यादा ध्यान देना है, राइट? सो इट इज मोर कंसर्न विद द होस्ट इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स, राइट, विच ड्राइव्स द पाथ टू कोविड-19 इन्फेक्शन। क्योंकि आज के तारीख में आपने देखा होगा कि नंबर ऑफ पेशेंट्स जो ठीक हो रहे हैं, राइट? सो प्रोग्नोसिस इज बिकमिंग डे बाय डे गुड, राइट? सो अगर आपके पास मेडिसिन एंड वैक्सीन डेवलप ही नहीं है आज के तारीख में, फिर भी आप उसके बारे में अच्छी तरह से रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हो, दिस इज बिकॉज नीड हैज कम टू शो दैट आपको ये समझना होगा कि होस्ट इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स ही है जो कोविड-19 के इन्फेक्शन का पाथ डिसाइड करता है। सो देयर कम्स अ रोल टू स्टेबलाइज योर इम्यून सिस्टम। देन आई वुड लाइक टू मेंशन हियर व्हिच वी हैड सीन अर्लियर, you need to understand कोविड-19 ने आपके साथ क्या किया हुआ है। it is put your immune system into continuous loop of up regulation and down regulation, right? उसके बाद कोविड-19 ने साइटोकाइन स्टॉर्म जो है ये प्रोड्यूस किया करने की कोशिश की आपके बॉडी में, एंड स्पेसिफिकली इट हैज स्टार्टेड विद इन द लंग्स ओनली, द सेल्स व्हिच आर स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द लंग्स ओनली, राइट? एंड नॉट सर्कुलेटिंग एंड नॉट फ्रॉम दोज सेल्स व्हिच आर सर्कुलेटिंग ल्यूकोसाइट्स, राइट? Next, need has also there that you need to understand the cytokine panel assessment. Typical cytokine जो है आपके पास, मैं अगर बात करना चाहूँगा तो इंटरल्यूकिन 6 है आपके पास, टिपिकल इंटरफेरॉन्स है एंड ट्यूमर नेक्रोसिस फैक्टर्स है, राइट? सो इनका साइटोकाइन पैनल असेसमेंट अगर करते हैं तो वी कैन अर्ली डिटेक्ट द पैथोफिजियोलॉजी ऑफ कोविड-19, राइट? एंड हिमेटोलॉजिकल इन्वेस्टिगेशंस जो मैंने आपको इसके पहले बताया, सो अर्ली डायग्नोसिस फॉर DIC लाइक कंडीशन, जैसा मैंने बताया था डिससेमिनेटेड इंट्रावेस्कुलर कोएगुलेशन, इनके जैसे केसेस में अर्ली डायग्नोसिस के लिए आपको कुछ टिपिकल हिमेटोलॉजिकल इन्वेस्टिगेशंस कर सकते हैं हम। उसके बाद सोफा स्कोर जो आज हमने नया देखा है दैट इज मल्टी ऑर्गन है, मल्टी सिस्टम इन्वॉल्वमेंट के लिए। नेक्स्ट इज इम्यूनोमॉड्यूलेशन, इम्यूनोसप्रेसिव थेरेपी दैट इज साइटोकाइन टारगेटेड थेरेपी, एंड रिप्लेसमेंट्स विद प्रॉपर टाइम पे, यानी यहाँ पे वापस बात करना पड़ेगा कि क्रियाकाल, राइट? आज का मेरा टॉपिक पूरा मॉडर्न है, मैं आयुर्वेद टेस्ट नहीं करना चाहूँगा आज। So replacements with properly loaded immunoglobulins, right? So this is for today's takeaway, and these are the references which I had gone for today's lecture. And I personally thank to Deepa Kale madam and all the teaching staff from Kriya Sharir Department of YMT Ayurved Medical College, Kharghar, Mumbai. And thank you once again. I am not sure that whether I was audible for today's complete lecture or not. But for any type of queries you can connect me. All are having my WhatsApp number and email IDs also, right? So thank you for today.